I had always believed that knowledge is power. I had always believed in keeping my cool, in thinking strategically, and in letting actions speak louder than words. I had never imagined that those principles would be tested in such a personal, humiliating, and yet strangely empowering way. It all started with a text I stumbled upon one late night. My wife, whom I had trusted for over a decade, had been seeing someone else, not just anyone, her colleague, someone I had met countless times at work dinners and family events. At first, I couldn't believe it. The betrayal felt like a punch to the gut, but the proof was undeniable. Messages, plans, and even flippant references to meeting after hours. I didn't confront her immediately. I didn't yell, beg, or break down. Instead, I observed. I collected evidence quietly, keeping every text, every email, every screenshot. I needed clarity, but more importantly, I needed strategy. Then, one evening, the opportunity presented itself. She mentioned an office party, something she was excited about. She was planning to go with him, of course. I asked casually about it, careful to keep my voice neutral, my tone light. She answered, smiling, oblivious that I knew the full story. It was then I hatched a plan. Not a cruel plan, not one driven by vengeance, but one designed to reveal the truth, expose the deception, and give me the clarity I needed in front of witnesses. I contacted his wife. I had never met her personally, but I knew enough about her through mutual acquaintances. I explained everything calmly, carefully, leaving out no details of the affair, and suggested that she attend the party, not to cause a scene, but to see for herself the reality of her husband's betrayal. She agreed. I didn't know if she would come, or if she would believe me, or if she would confront the situation, but I felt a quiet satisfaction in taking action that required courage, honesty, and precision. The night of the party arrived. My wife was glowing, excited to see her lover, unaware that I had quietly orchestrated a revelation that would change everything. I accompanied his wife to the party, introducing her casually, keeping my demeanor calm, and letting the evening unfold naturally. The moment she saw him, her husband, smiling, laughing, flirting with my wife, the change was immediate. Her face froze, a mixture of shock, disbelief, and rage washing over her. She didn't scream. She didn't storm the room. She simply stood there, absorbing the betrayal firsthand. My wife, oblivious, continued her charade, laughing, mingling, acting as though nothing was amiss. But the energy in the room shifted the instant the truth became visible. Friends and colleagues noticed the tension, the sudden awkwardness. Whispers started to circulate. People who had only seen fragments of the story began connecting the dots. I stayed calm, letting the events unfold. I didn't need to point fingers, make accusations, or expose every detail verbally. The presence of his wife, the silent shock, the way my wife's smile faltered ever so slightly, everything spoke louder than words. The evening ended quietly for most, but the damage had been done. Conversations changed. People who had once seen my wife in a flattering light began noticing her discomfort. The illusion of control she had maintained for months was gone. She realized painfully that her actions had consequences, not just emotional, but social, public, and undeniable. Later, I walked her home. Not angrily, not vengefully, but with the calm certainty of someone who had seen the truth and allowed it to speak for itself. She tried to justify herself, to explain her actions, to manipulate the narrative. But I had already witnessed the power of truth, and I refused to engage in the drama. In the days and weeks that followed, the affair unraveled. He tried to defend himself, tried to maintain the lie, but the evidence and the confrontation had made it impossible to continue. Friends and colleagues knew, rumors spread, and the couple faced the consequences of their choices. I realized something crucial in the process. Betrayal thrives in secrecy and manipulation. When those illusions are broken, the truth has a power that anger, revenge, or confrontation alone cannot achieve. By staying calm, thinking strategically, and acting decisively, I exposed the reality without losing myself to chaos. My marriage, of course, could not survive this. I chose to walk away, not out of anger, but out of self-respect. I had given years to someone who had deceived me, and I could no longer participate in a relationship built on lies. But I walked away knowing that I had acted with dignity, clarity, and purpose, and that the betrayal had been exposed in a way that required honesty, courage, and patience. Looking back, the moment I took his wife to that party was transformative. It wasn't about humiliation. It wasn't about revenge. It was about truth. It was about giving clarity to everyone involved. It was about reclaiming power that had been taken from me through deception. Betrayal can feel like a tidal wave, capable of crushing everything in its path, but strategy, patience, and calm observation allow you to navigate it, to expose it, and to emerge with dignity intact. I didn't just survive my wife's betrayal. I orchestrated a revelation that demanded accountability, honesty, and reflection. And in doing so, I reclaimed control over my life, my emotions, and my future.